think there are several perspectives to the question on how can you improve the sustainability of logistics operations and the manufacturing of goods. On the one side, of course, we are providing our partners with vehicles which are of the latest technology, may it be safety, may it be in terms of fuel efficiency, in terms of the powertrain. And this is, of course, one aspect. The second aspect is also the manufacturing part. Just recently communicated that we would like to be CO2 neutral for all the commercial vehicle factories until 2029. We took the first steps to get there. In general, the strategy of Daimler is to offer CO2 neutral solutions up to 2039, so to only offer CO2 neutral vehicles on the roads. That's the aim of our company. The availability of the right fuel for the right emission norm, because in Europe you have Euro 6 is mandated by the government. Here in the region, in the UAE, Euro 4 is compulsory as per the law. When we launched the new Fuso Canter range last year in December, we decided to go one step further. We directly launched the Euro 5 emission norm because the fuel is available. We have less fuel consumptions on these trucks. It has different other offers for or options and benefits for the customer. Therefore, we went one step further. Also, when we launched the new Actros here in the region, we also went to Euro 5 directly instead of the mandated Euro 4 for different reasons, as I just explained. When you look into a regional perspective, you have markets who are not able to supply the right fuel in order to bring the latest technology into the market. So I think that this is the major challenge which is existing. To have the right supply of the right fuel. But then next challenge is, of course, also to train the operators, have the operators, the drivers trained in the best possible way so that they know how to use the systems which are available in the truck. We have a driver training program that we rolled out here in the region. Every of our dealers is having driver trainers, so that's a very important part for us, because only if the driver understands the systems in the truck, he can optimize the usage and therefore also reduce the CO2 footprint. There is another aspect which is safety systems. With the safety systems you reduce your downtime, increase the uptime, but also there drivers need to know what system do I have in my truck, how do I operate it, and how can I maximize that. Another option is, of course, telematic systems that we have here in the region. Fleetboard is our in-house telematic system with which you can control the operation of your fleet, with which you can check if the driver is using the service brake or the engine brake, which is, of course, the better option. You can initiate preventive maintenance. And all of these aspects together, I think, are the challenges that we face here in the region.
What are we doing from a company perspective? I think from a global perspective, first of all, it's making sure that we are, regardless of the industry, we are efficient in the way we do business, and this efficiency is resulting in lower carbon footprint and lower carbon emission. That would also result in better cost efficiency for our clients. So it's a twofold approach, making sure that you are efficient, that results in reducing your carbon emission, and then being more cost effective for your clients. The drive of your companies towards making the trucks efficient and the area that you touched on regarding the training of the drivers, it's extremely important because of the infrastructure that we have. We have to remember that we are in an emerging market. What is in UAE is not in the rest of the GCC and the rest of the Middle East. And what we are, I think all of us are actually struggling with is the scarcity of biofuel and the fact that even if you have a Tesla car today, it won't be very efficient because you don't have enough charging stations. You see in Europe and the States today, there's a lot of companies going towards electrifying trucks, right? And there's a market for this. It's not going to start immediately on the long haul routes, that it will be efficient in the distribution and e-commerce business. And we will see that coming very soon. It already started in China in 2019 with IKEA. They started doing all their deliveries using electrical trucks. But in order for biofuel, alternative fuel, hydrogen cell, and electrical vehicles to be available in the market and efficient in the market, we need to work on the infrastructure. That not only includes the charging stations, this includes the actual road infrastructure. And I think this is going to be one of the major challenges. The other huge challenge is the abundance of cheap fuel compared to the rest of the world. And it has to make sense. So it has to make sense financially and commercially. When you are shifting from a fuel or diesel truck into an electrical truck, it has to make sense on the books eventually. Yeah. This is why I think, let's start with biofuel, and there should be additional incentives from the governments in the Middle East to, or tax breaks, I guess, to allow for additional biofuel development in the region.
Yeah, I mean, Fleetboard is our in-house telematics system, which is developed together with the vehicle, together with the truck. In the end, the system has access to all the important ICUs of the vehicle. It collects the data of the vehicle, collects the data of how the drivers are using the vehicle. So, as I mentioned before, are they using the service brake, are they using the engine brake, and is creating reports which can be customized for each individual customer. You can receive this report into your IT system as a customer, so that you can optimize with that the maintenance of the vehicles, you can optimize uptime of the vehicles, and you can use it as a tool in order to train your drivers. Because if you have a driver who is not using the engine brake, of course, this could be or should be a consequence of the analytics that you can run with the system.
Like we mentioned earlier, in terms of technology, definitely, but then you have to think of alternate ways to deliver, not only trucks. So we're going to be, the demand is going to increase, and we're still underdeveloped in e-commerce compared to the rest of the world here. But people are more and more going into trusting the concept and the system, and we see a big increase percentage-wise month over month in this region. I think not only looking at the optimization of loadability in the truck and the optimization of the route planning, I guess, it's also what are the alternative ways to deliver, whether it's being drones in the near future or whether it's going to be hand carry. I mean, there's alternative options, or hopefully in the winter we'll see cyclists delivering. But this also positively impacts, I mean, the CO2 emission as well. And the other area I think would be to optimize the warehousing part. So the warehousing part, if you optimize your layout and your processes inside the warehouse, it will also lead to better optimization of the delivery timings, the loadability of the trucks and the routes.
Yeah, electric vehicles, we spoke about it earlier, I mean, require quite a lot of infrastructure, require a lot of investment from the different companies in terms of, first of all, which vehicle do I take, which charger do I need? Second, how do I plan my route? Because one thing is for sure, the route planning is key for that, because you can't risk that you somehow run out of battery. You can't charge it as easy as you would refill a diesel tank. On the other side, you need to calculate the charging time, because it takes for sure much longer charging an electric vehicle than refueling a diesel tank. So I think there is a lot of investments needed, a lot of thoughts needed in order to make that happen. I think Dubai has now 300 charging stations for cars. However, none of them is accessible for a truck, at least not for a heavy truck, and will not be able to charge the heavy truck, or it takes ages. Yeah? So I think electric vehicles is an important step into the future, but it will not be the only technology in the future. There must be a mix of the different technologies. There must be an application which is allowing you to go for an electric vehicle. You heard before, last mile delivery will most likely be the first one, because you have quite a closed environment. You are not driving these long distances on the roads, and you have perhaps different charging points that you can utilize. I think, there, coming to Daimler a little bit. I mean, Fuso, our light-duty brand, launched the eCanter 2017. We have hundreds of them on the roads in the world, in different continents. We are now going into the first hot countries as well. Australia just launched the eCanter, so at a certain point in time it will come to the Middle East as well. However, the infrastructure needs to be there, incentives needs to be there, and I think the business models need to change to a certain extent. Then this will come, but it will not be the only technology from my point of view. Therefore, there are a lot of investments also in other technologies, as we heard. I think the manufacturers have different ideas about alternative fuel. Hydrogen is one of the potential options in the future. Let's see. It will be exciting for sure.
So it's going to change in the way you sell, actually, because it's going to be different, and you need, at least to start with, it's not going to go across the board. It's going to be for these specific applications where it fits. Then I think the business model is changing as well, because the upfront cost of electric vehicle is also higher. So it's going to be put another, let's say. Financing is probably going to be a more important issue in the purchasing as well. And then today we have many customers serving the vehicles themselves. When it comes to electric vehicle, that's going to be also a bit of a challenge to do that. Yeah. But it's changing in a way, the way of things, how things are done. Yes, I would say so. There has to be today, let's say, the business case for you to go for an electric vehicle is not there, as I see it, because it's the upfront cost of the electric vehicle is a lot higher than a conventional diesel truck. Here in this region, diesel prices are very, very low. Electricity price is quite high. So economically, right now, it's very difficult to get the business case in place to run, let's say, electric vehicle. So that has to be there. We see that in a number of countries, and mainly in Europe, where we have a high diesel price, a relatively low or electricity price, as well as when there are incentives, it makes sense to go electric. But we are not there. Here we are not there yet. So I think that's one part of it that has to be there.
Incentivizing the owners of old trucks, and as you rightly say, it seems to be that the majority of them are small companies or small contractors who are surviving in what is now becoming a very tough market. So you're going to have to find a different way to convince them to move away. Now, obviously, government has regulations on emissions and safety, which can be made more stringent, maybe, but in an incremental way rather than in a draconian fashion. The incentive has to be, yes, part of it's going to be this global citizen idea, but part of it's going to be that they're going to have to be offered better packages by the truck distributors who are trying to get the business, whether it's on leasing, whether it's on bumper to bumper service packages for X number of years, whether on payment terms, whether on buyback. I think in the UAE the onus will always be on the commercial side rather than legislation side to push things along. And again, to get that commercial side to react, we come back to the same thing about awareness, etc., etc. But I think the government also, from my experience, has a more let's say, fair approach to business than in many other parts of the world. And if there's anything they're saying, we'll provide the infrastructure, we'll provide the regulations, okay? Now go out and innovate. And if you look at what Abu Dhabi government is doing, at what Dubai is doing, what the UAE government is doing, all the time they're talking about innovation, innovation, innovation. Who are they addressing this to? They're addressing it to the public, to the private sector. That, listen, we're making all of this available to you. Use it. Innovate, become richer in the process. And that's why I'm saying that I think that the government would tend to say there's a platform of regulation, and the rest is up to you guys across the board to make something of it. And I think that is part of the business model in this country.
For us, it's very important to be sustainable. It's our purpose to drive the shift towards a more sustainable future, a more sustainable transport system. And we have signed up to science-based targets to achieve our, let's say, goal of reducing the CO2 footprint and the global warming. We don't fiddle around with our purpose. That's very important for us as a company, and also very important for us or for me as an individual as well. I believe that we need to do something about sustainability on a global level. And here we try to do our part. And then I would say that it's not so important, we can discuss different solutions. What is important is there is not one solution that will solve all the problems. I would like to say that any initiatives in supporting this are good. So I think we've heard a lot of good initiatives here today, and they're all good, and let's work with them all.
Yeah, at Daimler Trucks and Buses, sustainability is a very important topic for us from different perspectives. As a vehicle manufacturer, it starts with the production of the vehicles. We announced a few years ago that until 2022 we want to have all the truck plants in Europe CO2 neutral in terms of our production. That's one element of it, of course. Second element is the distribution of our vehicles and offering the best possible services and products to our clients, which is given the circumstances in the individual markets. Taking the UAE as an example, I think here the fuel is available in order to offer Euro 5 technology to the clients, which enables them to have the most fuel-efficient transportation task. It's not only the product, it's also the services being provided, from driver training to telematic services to maintenance and service solutions. That's what sustainability is for us.
The company Agility is committed to reducing the carbon footprint by 25% by 2025. And the reason we are actually committed to that is because we believe in the impact that it's going to have on the company and this region and globally in the long run. And we want to be always following the ahead of the global standards when it comes to emission. And this means also partnering with the right companies, whether it be it the customers or vendors, and investing in technology and emerging technology that would actually get us towards our goal.
I think within Al Mas'ud Group, with all the diversity that we have of products and services, we very much remain part of the community, the immediate community, and through it a wider community and so on. And I think it's now beyond any doubt that there is a danger if we as an overall community don't respond to the damage that has been done and to try and prevent any more damage by becoming fairly rapidly a lot more sustainable in our attitudes and our activities. I believe that a lot of the action plans have to be on a micro level because of what we had said earlier in terms of people becoming convinced that yes, there is a danger and we need to you know, the sense of what more can I do to help the cause. And I think that's being reflected in a lot of the plans that we're now studying going forward, because we're looking at a number of plans across operations in terms of where we need to be in a few years' time. And logistics and green logistics and sustainability are part of this.